Welcome to the Explainer. What if I told you that the real difference between a company that skyrockets and one that fails often comes down to just one thing? It's not their product, it's not their marketing, it's their data architecture. Today, we're breaking down the blueprint that separates the data masters from the data disasters.
I mean, we've all seen this, right? Some companies just seem to have this Midas touch with data. They turn everything into gold, creating these incredible insights and game-changing products. But then you have others who are just drowning. They're completely overwhelmed, unable to make sense of what they have. So what's the secret? Well, it's not magic. It's all about their blueprint for success.
To really get the solution, first we have to understand the problem. And it's a problem that pretty much every modern organization is facing. What happens when your data turns into pure chaos?
And this right here, this is what that chaos looks like. Just imagine a giant library, but with no catalog system. Books are scattered everywhere, there are a dozen copies of the same text, a total mess. That's the reality for so many businesses. You get these isolated data silos and tons of redundant information, which, you guessed it, leads to confusion, really bad decisions, and just stalls out any kind of innovation.
Okay, so how do you bring order to all of that chaos? Well, you need a plan, a strategy. And that plan is called data architecture.
So what is it exactly? Think of data architecture as the master plan. It's the set of rules that governs how all your data gets collected, where it's stored, how it's managed, and, most importantly, how it's actually used to get real business results. It's the framework that turns all that raw, messy info into a seriously powerful asset. This city plan analogy is a really brilliant way to think about it. It maps out where your data lives, those are your databases and storage systems. It defines the highways that data travels on, those are your data pipelines. And it shows how everything is organized to support the whole city, or in this case, your whole business.
So let's trace a super simple data flow to see this plan in action. Okay, first you have your data sources. That's the raw material from your apps, your website, whatever. Next up is the ETL process. That stands for extract, transform, and load. And it's this crucial step where the data gets cleaned up and sorted. From there, it lands in a central hub, like a data warehouse, where business intelligence tools can get to it, create reports, and finally, give leaders what they need to make smart decisions.
All right, so we've got the city plan idea. Now let's dig into the actual building blocks that a data architect uses to put it all together.
So first things first, architects are dealing with two fundamentally different kinds of data. On one side, you have structured data. Think of a perfect spreadsheet. Everything's in its neat little box, super organized, easy to search. Then, on the other side, you have unstructured data. This is the wild stuff. Emails, videos, social media posts. It's chaotic, yeah, but it's also a goldmine of insights if you can figure out how to unlock it. And of course, there's the middle ground, semi-structured data. This is stuff like JSON or XML files. They're not just random text, they use simple tags and labels to give the data some organization without forcing it into a strict, rigid table. It's this flexible hybrid that really bridges the gap between total order and total chaos.
So based on the kind of data and what the business actually needs to do, an architect will choose a specific pattern. A data warehouse, for example, is like a highly curated library. It's perfect for structured reporting. A data lake is more like a massive reservoir, built to hold enormous amounts of raw, messy data for you to explore later. The lakehouse is a newer idea that tries to give you the best of both worlds. And of course, cloud architectures are all about giving you incredible scale and real-time power on demand.
Okay, let's talk about the future. Because there's a new technology on the scene, and it is pushing data architecture to its absolute limit. I'm talking about artificial intelligence.
See, AI isn't just another tool. It is a voracious data-eating machine. Its demands are totally unique because it doesn't just read data. It learns from it. And that learning process requires vast, diverse, and incredibly high-quality data to work properly. Get it wrong, and you get bad predictions and a lot of mistakes.
To power AI the right way, an architecture has to master what's known as the 4 V's. First is volume. You need massive data sets. Then there's variety. It has to handle everything from text and images to audio. Velocity is all about speed, processing data often in real time. And finally, veracity. This is a huge one. It just means the data has to be accurate and trustworthy. You know the old saying, garbage in, garbage out? Well, for AI, that's truer than ever.
Okay, this all sounds pretty complex, right? So what's the big payoff? Why does going through all this trouble to build a good data architecture really matter?
let's talk strategy.
Here's why. A well-designed architecture is so much more than just an IT project. It is a core strategic asset for the entire business. It's the difference between a company that can launch a personalized recommendation engine and one that's still struggling just to pull a basic monthly sales report.
And this really shows you the business value right here. A solid blueprint gives you scalability, so you can grow without everything breaking. It gives you flexibility, so you can adapt when the market changes. It drives better decisions by giving leaders data they can actually trust. And it fuels innovation. It's the foundation for your next big thing.
So in the end, by building a strong data architecture, you're not just organizing files on a server. You're finally unlocking the stories that your data has been trying to tell you this whole time. So the final question really isn't about technology, it's about listening. Your data is telling a story. Is your architecture letting you hear it?